Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Rico, and this is Relatively Sound, the channel that has risen. Now, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I am back with another episode where I'm going to be reviewing another brand new EP from the rock band U2. Now, last week, I had finally found the time to review their first surprise EP of the year, Days of Ash. And if you want to go check out the video, definitely go and check it out because I review every song on the album, on the EP, and kind of just talk about my thoughts. And everyone was surprised they released it because it was just out of the blue, and it was a very political driven project. Every song had to do with politics, whether it was American politics or wars around the world, protests, things like that. And it seemed like a lot of the reactions from like the fans were positive, including mine. I did enjoy it. It was great to hear something new from the band instead of just them rehashing old songs or doing one-off singles. And I liked most of the songs on the EP. Some took risk, others maybe played it safe, but still sounded strong. I really loved American Obituary, was my favorite on the album. But that wasn't even the most shocking part, because after they released that, a month later, on Good Friday, they released another new EP out of the blue titled Easter Lily. So it is an Easter miracle because 2026 is shaping up to be maybe U2's most prolific year, because Bono has stated that this is not going to slow down the work on their new album, that it's still supposed to be coming out later this year, which means that, we already have almost a whole album's worth between these two EPs, and now we still have another album coming on the way. And now there's rumors that there's going to be maybe a third EP to drop later this year, which would be insane. At this point, I wouldn't put it past them, but I'm not going to get my hopes up because, even if they didn't release a new album this year, again, we almost have a whole album's worth because they did release 6 new songs on this latest EP. And so I've given this EP, I think, already more listens than Days of Ash, because although I enjoyed Days of Ash, it was pretty dense lyrically. And not every song musically was extremely memorable to me, or were songs that I wanted to go out of my way to listen to again, besides maybe American Obituary and The Tears of Things. But I'm going to tell you right now, this new EP, Easter Lily, I love it. This is kind of what I have been hoping for with a new U2 album in general. Like I explained on the last episode, I really enjoyed Songs of Innocence. I understand the whole putting it on your iPhone really pissed some people off, but most of those people were not U2 fans in the first place. But the album itself, I loved. And then I really did not like the following album, Songs of Experience. To me, it's they were trying too hard. Songs of Innocence had such catchy songs, memorable songs, some great bass parts in some of the songs. Bono sounded powerful. And then Songs of Experience was a lot of Bono trying too hard to make certain phrases sound catchy. The melodies felt forced. The instrumentation just felt too poppy and too all over the place. And I didn't really like the production and some of the collabs on the album. So I just, by far, my least favorite YouTube project. I don't think I've listened to it more than once or twice in its entirety. So then since then we haven't had a full new album of new material, and I didn't know where they were going to go on this new album. Supposedly it's supposed to be a rock album where they can play it live, but this is kind of the U2 that I really enjoy, at least when it comes to modern day U2, anything post All That You Can't Leave Behind. And I think the reason I like this EP so much is because it reminds me so much of All That You Can't Leave Behind, where I felt maybe parts of Days of Ash, that EP sounded a lot like How to Dismantle Atomic Bomb and Songs of Innocence. This just, it sounds like they could be unreleased songs or demos from the All That You Can't Leave Behind era for the band. And that is one of my favorite U2 albums. I love like almost every song on this EP. I mean, right off the bat, opening track, Song for Howl. Those guitars come in, the Edge just sounds like, again, it sounds like something you would hear on All That You Can't Leave Behind. But then it goes into like more of a minor chord sound when it goes into the verse. So it still sounds fresh. It doesn't sound like a ripoff of like any specific song necessarily. And surprisingly, the vocal start, we get the Edge singing. Edge is lead vocals on a song, which I actually didn't like. I knew when he started singing, I'm like, oh, is this the Edge? Because it didn't quite sound like Bono. But as the song progresses and we get into the chorus, he's singing like not only melodies that sounds like something Bono would come up with, but his voice gets pretty powerful to the point where I kind of was like, I questioned myself. I'm like, wait, is this not Bono? Because this sounds like Bono. Which is surprising because I've always really enjoyed the Edge's voice. That kind of solo performance he does of Love Is Blindness, which, is a song he wrote, I love. But then when he sang their reworked version of Peace on Earth on the Songs of Surrender album, his voice did not sound very strong. And I was kind of like, oof, like I was expecting it to be a lot better sounding than it was. But Song for Howl, like it sounds fantastic. I don't think it would have sounded any better Bono sang it because Edge hits some pretty powerful notes in the chorus of the song. And it's a moving song. This album this EP seems more like personal than the political one, because political one seemed like, obviously Bono's like the activist he is. He's kind of like just bringing up topics that are present in today's political climate, where this sounds a little bit more personal. And in this song specifically, I think I read that it was a tribute to Hal Wilner, who was a album producer who worked with the bands on several projects. I want to say he passed away during COVID, and he would have turned 70 on this Easter. And yeah, like it's a moving song. The lyrics, do you know that he's close to God? They name drop him in the song. I mean, it's like already it's something that I feel like I can connect to more than the lyrics on Days of Ash. Although, again, the lyrics on Days of Ash is strong, but they're just more like sentimental on this album. So fantastic song. Right off the bat, I'm like, I already love the song probably more than anything off of Days of Ash. And I enjoyed Days of Ash quite a bit. Then we get into the next track, In a Life. I'm like, wow, this EP's getting even better, because I think I liked In a Life even more than Song for Howl. This one, like, it starts off with like Edge chimey guitar, and like right off the bat, I'm like, yeah, this sounds like All They Can't Leave Behind. This sounds like a mix of Beautiful Day and Always, which was kind of the song that turned into Beautiful Day. It just has this kind of like arena feel, but without it sounding like corny. Like, I feel like on Songs Experience with something like Get Out of Your Own Way, which I do not like. There was them trying to sound like for like an arena kind of like poppy radio song, and like the chanting, and like it doesn't work for me. Where on this song, I don't know, it sounds like classic U2, but without them trying too hard to sound like classic U2. I love the energy of the song. I really enjoy Bono's singing, like the melody in the verse. I like that he's kind of singing lower, and then when you get to the chorus, he definitely kind of lets loose a little bit more, and he gets into the higher register, which I think is his sweet spot. And again, like the lyrics, I won't say like they're his most like amazing lyrics, but again, they're ones that I feel like I can connect to a tiny bit more. I feel like there is a slight callback to Mysterious Ways on this song, because In a Life, he sings, and I'm still learning how to kneel, which if you want to kiss the sky, you got to learn how to kneel. So I thought that was kind of cool if that was intentional. I just love the rhythm of the song. It's like a feel-good song. The chords are great. Edge's guitar work is phenomenal as always. And it's going to be one that's going to be on constant rotation for me. Probably putting that in my summer playlist for sure. And then we get to the third track, Scars. This is the one that I think is still growing on me. I will say drums are really solid in the song. Larry's like very powerful with the toms on this song. Good bass work from Adam as well, kind of thumping, kind of driving. The song's a little bit driving. I think my issue with it is like the chorus and the pre-chorus, it loses its steam a little bit. And I think lyrically, this is my least favorite of all the songs, just because it's a topic that's sung about a lot of times before in the past from other artists, where it's like, don't cover up your scars because they make you who you are. And it's like a great sentiment to have. It's been done before. So it's not like groundbreaking. And I feel like he repeats it so often in the song that it doesn't grip me as much as the other tracks. But I do like the musically for it. It's a little bit of a darker sounding song, because this EP is a lot, it's like the light, where Days of Ash was kind of like the dark for the most part. Track 4, Resurrection Song. I don't know if this was like a nod to like his version of Redemption Song. In any case, I do like this one. This one on the first listen, I wasn't like, wow, this is amazing. But the more I listen to it, the more I'm kind of like, yeah, I like this. This is kind of, Edge has that kind of chirpy guitar riff that reminds me a little bit of City of Blinding Lights. The song does build in a grand way. And it's another like kind of feel good song. Bono is again lyrically kind of like he's talking about love in the air and fear, and he's talking about like life and death, which I guess makes sense. Resurrection Song. I mean, a lot of these songs too, I think thematically, where if the other EP was about like politics, this is more about like life and maybe even religion, which not all of that is going to like necessarily matter a lot to me in that regards. But it doesn't, none of it is like distracting for me, which is a good thing. One that's already one of my favorites that didn't need any time to grow on me is Easter Parade. This song, wow, like this to me is kind of like what they were kind of doing on No Line on the Horizon, which I think is a very underrated U2 album. I mean, this song begins with like these synths, these like arpeggio synths that like are really rhythmic. And then Adam comes in with his bass. And when the verses start, man, Adam has like a very nasty bass line in this song. Like it's the perfect range of like kind of fuzzy, but like in a really good groove. Like it's not taken away from the rest of the song, the rest of the instrumentation, but it still has that like feel good sound. It's kind of like a dancey song, which again is not something that I'm expecting from U2 at this point in the career. But Adam sounds fantastic on the song. He's a driving force of the song. But even Bono, the melodies on this song are great. They really hook you. Especially when like I guess the lyrics are kind of a little bit more vague and again more on the maybe the religious side, but and the chorus, when the chorus hits and you get like the piano, it's really moving, but then it gets into a more of a kind of groove, kind of dance like vibe when you get the kind of chanting vocals of Easter Parade, which the kind of backing vocals on this song works, where it does not work for me on Yours Internally from the EP or something like Get Out of Your Own Way from Songs of Experience. It works great on this song, not on the other songs, at least not for me. And then you have a really cool breakdown at the very end. Like there's an outro that kind of just goes on, and maybe goes on like a little bit too long for me, but it's a nice cool down moment, especially because the rest of the song has so much kind of bouncy energy. And it is a great segue to the final track on the album, which is entitled Coexist. I Will Bless the Lord at All Times, ? This is like one of the weirdest U2 songs that they've ever released. This is like passenger levels weird for U2, which is cool. I mean, this is obviously too the one song on the album that features Brian Eno, and you can tell that immediately because the song instrumentally is just like synth pads and Bono's vocals. And Bono's vocals, he's not just like singing, he's like almost like talking, but not quite. Like there is melody, but it's so kind of fast and sporadic and random that it is a little bit like kind of spoken word, which I guess like we were kind of set up for with the spoken word song on the last EP. But this time he's doing it. And again, this song seems very religious. I mean, half of the verse is just him singing, "I will bless the Lord at all times." But the question mark in the title is very interesting because it's why is he? It's not a question when he sings into the song, but the title of the song has the question mark, which I kind of like that it's random like that. Great lyrics in this song. I like when he sings "Ice Cream Smile, wide as a mile back." Um, he kind of gets personal in the song. There's a moment where he sings, "I got so many words in my head, but I can't find the lines." Very relatable line. Um, and the song just has these like random moments where there's like sounds like there's maybe things being sampled, and then at times the music will just kind of cut out, which there's not that much music to begin with. It's just like the synth pads from Brian Eno, but then they cut out and it's just Bono's vocals, and he's got this like backing track, but it's very like it's heavy on the vocal effects, and it really reminds me of the Laurie Anderson song "Oh Superman," where it's like kind of almost eerie in a way, but it's like fitting for the song. The whole song kind of has that vibe, but like a little bit slower, more like eternal. And it's almost like if you took the closing track on The Unforgettable Fire, MLK, but made it 6 minutes long and made Bono just kind of like freestyle over it. But it's like bizarre, but like in the best way possible, because this whole EP was a surprise. Both EPs were a surprise, but like this one is just kind of like, it's a fitting way to end it. And the most jarring part maybe is at the very like after Bono does like the acapella bit at the very end, it stops. And then there's like this really loud, really quick kind of alarm sound, like this like ringing bell. And everyone online thinks it's going to lead into either the next EP or a next single off like the upcoming album. I don't know if I buy into that, but it does sound like it would be too random for it to not lead into something. But regardless, I do really like this closing track on this EP. It's very interesting. It's like kind of leaves a lasting effect on you, and it like when you restart the EP, it's kind of like a nice kind of way to like get back into the more powerful songs on the album, because almost every other song on the album is more upbeat, energetic, and then this last one is so different. It's different than anything that like it sounds like it should have been on something on No Line on the Horizon. Which again, I really enjoy that album, unlike other fans. So I dig it. I really like this EP. I definitely prefer it over Days of Ash, and it'll be one that is going to be in my rotation for a lot longer. And if this is the style they're going to go for the next album, I would love it. I don't think so, unfortunately. Again, I don't know if these songs are like how old they are, if they're all brand new, if there's, things they were working on for past albums. So I'm not expecting the new album to sound like this. I think it is going to be a little bit more rock, a little bit like they're going to have like those vertigos or the elevations on the album, even like the Get On Your Boots. But if we can have a couple songs on the new album that sound like any of these tracks, I will be very happy. But pleasant surprise. Drop us a comment and let us know, what did you think of this new U2 EP? What are your favorite songs from it? Do you prefer this one or Days of Ash? And do you think a new EP will come out before the album? And then what do you think the new album will sound like? Let us all know. Let us know in the comments down below. But until next time, we hope you take care, and you will be hearing from us soon. Bye-bye.